Hi and welcome to the first of many recordings of the tutorial version of the Tianhe 1/100 scale model made by AMX on his website. He has released the model for everybody to make. A link will be provided in the description of this video to take you straight to the model, the website, and other models he has made. But the link will specifically send you to this page. You get to see the photos, everything. Download, you can see it's released there, and if you click on it, it may either prompt you with a save, or it may open it in another tab, load it up, and you can print. As you see, your PDF will have a AMX watermark. Mine will not, as you see, because I managed to obtain this before he released it to start working on these tutorials. So I will not have the watermark, as you may. Let's run a brief overview of the PDF. First page, you'll see there is the base and the main body, which is this part here, not including this, nor the gyroscopes of the cone. Now there's two versions that you can make of this base model. You have this simple one piece, where this skin color section is not perking out, extruding or any way. It's completely flat, and you won't have to cut all these individual little squares out. And the complex one is actually what I've done here. For the model I will be doing for this tutorial, I will be doing the complicated one and making the simple one. The simple one will not be making it to the final model, but this complex side will. The first actual tutorial video on how to make it will be making the main body here, the docking port based here, this cone, this upper body, and the power data transmitters here on these parts. We will not be making the gyroscopes. That will be done for another video. And that's basically how the first tutorial is going to work. In the end, I will have two of these. One version will be configured as stowed. The other one will be configured as extended, and I will place it around in my bedroom. So that's basically the main body part. And as you see, we get the gyroscopes on the screen. The aft cover, which goes on the base here, has the rear docking port. And it has the docking port there too. Don't worry, this model, from my perspective, as someone who's modeling for 1 year, it can show its difficulties, especially with the little rectangles here where you have to cut and then have to carefully place them here. As you see, I did have some difficulties, but they do end up straight or bent in a bit. The gyroscopes, now on this model, I've made two of the simple ones, and one of this, I'd say medium, can prove difficulties. As you may see, AMX has not included any small tabs here, which makes it a little bit harder to model and place them on, so it's kind of a lot of guessing really. Here's that cone section that I was talking about before. That will be included with the main body tutorial, including these little details here, which extrude out a bit. Now this part you don't get a choice here, you kind of have to do it, because AMX has not provided a simpler version for this here. May vary, I've got the one that I was pre-released. Now these little stowed solar panel struts, I'm going to say they're optional for now, because you have to place them like in these little areas here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably these three here. You have to cut 2 holes here and there. That's where you'll get something like, for me, I don't have any of the stuff AMX has, like the cotton swab sticks. I use a skewer. The skewer with the solar panels on, only one will be installed, and then put it through, install the other solar panel, and it locks in there. That's making it easy. So that's why there are 2 holes there. You'll see the solar panels in the next few pages. These little bits here get placed around everywhere, mainly up here-ish, on the top part here. There's another one of those. So we'll be doing each one of these. Now, I do not have magnets at the moment, so for now my tutorials will consist of model without magnets. The moment I get magnets, I'll be redoing some of the tutorial with the magnets included. And as you see on this next page, we have the docking hub area, so this top part here, with the 4 docking ports and the airlock spur. Do that. Yeah, here's the airlock spur. Now you see this antenna here. It goes up here. I haven't done it yet, but I will do it. I'll finish this model off camera. So for the stowed configuration of the solar panels will not be installed because that will be done in a separate video, on which I'll show you how to install the solar panels at the same time. Then here we have the solar panels. Now, I haven't made them yet. I haven't printed out, ready to be made with the tutorials. So from photos I've seen, they extrude roughly about here, maybe a bit bigger. Depends on how you print. I print it to scale, which I'll show you that too. So then we have the robotic arm, China's robotic arm. Some people call it China arm, which I think was pretty funny. I got it off from Twitter. I thought it was pretty cool, so I thought I might call it that. As you see, it's not quite like as big as Canada arm. It's actually half the size, I think. I heard somewhere. It'd be pretty interesting to see how big it actually is. And here we have the stand. This is only a temporary stand as far as what I know, because Tianhe is just only just begun, still getting worked on currently in real life. It'll be very interesting to see when China finishes the thing. Apparently it's meant to have the core module and then science lab. So it'll be very interesting to see. Some of you at the Space Minutes may notice that looks a lot like Svezda on the ISS. Now this is because, pretty sure, that Russia shared their space station plans with China. So that China just feeds dirty thieves. But personally, I think it's pretty cool to see Russia's old space stations live on, as now they're not in the space station business really anymore, apart from they're dealing with the ISS and their Nautico, which is going to be launched soon, hopefully. And AMX will update his ISS thing and everything. And as you may notice, you have these little areas here. Now apparently, there's some sort of arm connector, I don't know. So the docking ports here, you still struggle with that. But with this model, I'm gonna try and do every piece on the piece of paper I can, apart from obviously the first page. Can't really do both and have them on one model. Or you could if you're smart, but yeah. We'll take a quick look at all the photos we have that AMX has put on his site. Sadly, I did not provide any of these, but pretty cool looking. So here you kind of get to see the forward. Now in AMX photos, don't rely on them for the rotation of these pedals. China has the rotation, so these black bits up here, this little thing is 90 degrees rotated to the right from the forward facing. If you go 90 degrees, that's where you want one pedal to be sticking out. Now the rest of these pedals will not care because they will follow the orientation of this sort of. If you looked carefully at the PDF, you would see these little tabs here. And they go on roughly the center of these pedals. So as long as you get the rotation of this correct, all these other pedals will follow. You see, we got some close-up shots. You're seeing lots of detail here. Don't worry, detail can be hard at some points, but generally easy. Got to put a bit of glue there and just hold the thing there. And when you think it's got a good dry, but not fully, you can take your tweezer away or whatever you're using to hold the model down. Personally, I use a scalpel, and then about 6 tweezers. So I have these. So you push on these and they open, and then they hold sharp. Tweezers like this. I use these tweezers, but rarely. Tweezers that have flatter edge for those outside parts where you don't want them to look all lumpy, like these tweezers where they got these lumps. I generally use these to hold it down tight. But when they're on the outside, I hold them down tight with this. And that's all the tweezers I use. I use scissors. I use Elmer's school glue, which dries clear. I use a glue stick for stuff like the solar panels to maintain, as you may see on the AMX photos, flat and straight. Now I used to struggle with that with these solar panels. I used the Elmer's glue, thinking that it was a good idea. It worked. Little did I know it wouldn't work that well. Now this photo here, so most people curve the pedals for their docking port, but generally they don't. They leave it straight. And if you look on mine, I curved them for realistic sakes, but sometimes they can be poor quality curves, like that docking port there. Not really happy with it, but I could do better. And that's why we grow experience as we do it for a longer time. Like I've been doing it for a year, which I recently celebrated 4 days ago. Very interesting. I recreated my first model, CRS3. Very entertaining. As you see from here, we get some photos of it not on the sand, but still get a good idea. See, we get little details. Now, on this model, seam line always lines up with seam line. So you got the seam line here, goes on to here. As you see it, partly covered by this seam line. And then the seam line of the small cone area. And then for the docking hub, seam line there. On the top, it's generally covered by this small black thing, which is then hidden by the docking port, which is convenient. Then some more photos, you see the arm. To give you a scale, I'll give you guys a scale. Let's go with the glue stick. It's not that big in terms. I had like a USB, like I just conveniently do. It's about the same size as your standard 8GB USB. They're not bad actually. Might be a bit hard. That reminds me, that's the other thing to note when building. Okay, so the AMX said if you're using, it says here, depending on the thickness of the cardstock used, if necessary, to layer the rods with plain paper in order to create a snug fit. So a snug fit is where it slides in, it's basically held there as if it's glued. Sorry, I just had to wipe my eyes there, I got a bit of condition. So it sits in, so you can move it, but it's not like easy to move hanging around. I think I did that with a Canada arm one day I made before I got a color printer, and it just wriggles around like crazy. Yeah, this kind of fell apart. As you see, it kind of moves. Sometimes it does, but like it just moves too easy, and I kind of wanted it to be a bit harder to move. But now that I got a colored printer, I can just do it better. Yeah, you can see the antenna here. So that's basically the model overview for this. I do have AMX's permission to build this model. As I see here, when you release the model, you wouldn't mind maybe make a small series on how to make Tianhe. And that was because I had to save all 155 photos now, not 145, 155 on his Twitter. He had 155 on his Twitter page on how to make it. So you see here, I'll just swing over to his Twitter. Yeah, as you see, it's been released on A4. Yeah, that's my watch, then it's been 1 hour. Yeah, he's released it. Then here you see that little grey part. Now initially he doesn't put anything out there about it. Yeah, see? So I'm pretty sure one square is about 1 inch by 1 inch, which is 2.5 by 2.5. So as you see, that's not big. Oh, very big. Very interesting. Yeah, and then here's the antenna placement. Yeah, so basically he uploaded a lot of photos. I can just keep scrolling, I'm just gonna see the tutorial. He does provide some. Then you got the arm. So basically for the arm, same sets of Canada arm, except for a bit better now. See, solar array, solar. 7 parts of the solar. Yeah, see, here we go. Assembly of a solar panel is regular alloy glue to glue the parts of the solar panel together. So you don't get the creased stuff, you get flat. You get the docking ports, and this is what I mean. So I stuffed up with this model. You see there's a tab right there. Now, I never made that tab, so I kind of just forced the head on there. Didn't end up too bad, but I could have done better. Okay, so here's the instructions. Yeah, as you see, he puts a magnet there. But because I live in Australia, magnet and anything from the USA takes a while to get through. So, can't wait for them to come back here. Get here. As you see, AMX has kind of uploaded the photos as he was building the model. As you see, some of the details don't end up on the final. They just get to the end. Yeah, some instructions he did like before others, so you kind of made it interesting to see. Yeah, so that's basically the start of it. That's all the photos. So I've got his permission. I've given you a brief overview of PDF. So hopefully this should help lead into the first construction video I'm going to make. Now, before I do sign off on this video, so I utilize my phone to record this, which is an iPhone 7 right here in its case. It does a pretty good job. As you see, my background is SN15 landing, which congrats SpaceX for landing their first fully scaled Starship without having to explode on the pad 6 minutes post landing. That was a sad sight to see. So if I just reach over, I sit my phone in my SN10 model. So basically what happens is, so I have this on my desk, I place my phone in here, and it provides like a pretty good overview of my desk and where the model is. If I just jump over to videos, video, and then on Facebook I posted a little teaser towards my CRS1. Yeah, I still gotta make that video. Still save it on my phone. I find it whilst I'm trying to play this. And as you see, this is kind of the view you get whilst that's playing. I'll just quickly grab my phone. Yeah, so as you see in the background, I do have a cargo dragon and that crew 2 dragon. Now you can see this in the background. This is for SN10. It's a little thrust puck. Oh yeah. That dragon, crew 2, finished that. And that's like the briefest overview you get, like from where the phone sits. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see this, but every now and then I do move my phone around just to try and get a view of roughly where my legs sit, because when I model, so I have my desk and then I have me. I like to bring my model towards me when I'm folding the object or model. When it gets to the large parts like the body, I get on my desk, and if you've watched AMX's large rolling tutorial, kind of sit on your desk and roll it a few, and then you collect it, glue it, do everything with it, and then that's basically how you roll the big parts. Yeah, so Tianhe. So in my experience, I don't think the model is going to be that difficult to make. It's just when it comes to most likely the gyroscopes, I'm having a bit of difficulty, but not difficulty. It's kind of hard in some areas. You have to kind of slide the two upper forward small cones together. Yeah. Alright, now let's continue with how to print the model to scale, or what I use. So I don't know if this is correct so far, but I'm recording this after I did the initial first recording, which is where I did the whole thing and the ending, but I neglected to include this and other things. So this is how you print. So this is what I do. I do it page by page. I print page by page. So I go current, actual size, page setup. and I have it on A4. And now, because this is the printer I share with family members, I still live with my parents, I go multi-purpose tray because my parents and family know to leave that tray alone. It's my tray. I put paper in there. It's mine. And so I use this setup. This is correct. No, it's not. Sorry. I fibbed. Shoot me if you must. I use letter. I use this because I'm pretty sure this is the correct way. AMX, if you're watching this and I've got this printing incorrect, please do comment or email me. Which also reminds me, if you ever need help, my email will be in the description. So if you need help with some parts that I have not covered in these videos, feel free to email. As you see, my email does get pretty empty. So if I just between me and Alfonso and Epic Games, because with my main account I buy games, and if I think they're really cool, I go to this account and buy them, or not buy them or get them, because they're probably really cool. Yeah. So I will conclude this video in the OBS recording. That would be interesting. I should return to the old PDF. Sad thing is, you don't get to see like a graphical view like AMX did with some of the other models. Let's pull up an example, like SN8 for example. You get this little nice thing. This is the old SN8. You see from the heat tiles. It's kind of sad to see that. I will see you guys in the first video tutorial, which will be the main body, as I said. This part, which is the big, like, not living quarters. Living quarters? Yeah, no, not living quarters. Living quarters is there. Oh well. As you see, AMX did make a little mistake. I did send him an email about it. He says, cut out all while spaces. I'm pretty sure he meant white, but let's just assume for a second that it is white. So I'll end the video holding this here, the PDF open. Thank you for watching the first part of this tutorial, which technically is only the slideshow. If you've come from AMX and you know that when he did his SN8 metallic version, you noticed that he does a slideshow, then he starts the tutorials. I'm actually recording this right before I'm most likely going to start. I just got to clean my desk from the SN10 pieces. As you see, I'm notorious for leaving those pieces on my desk. Yeah. I'll see you guys when I manage to upload the main body. To be honest, I think that video might take 5 minutes, maybe more actually, because I got to explain everything. Let's say after this uploads, give me about a few hours to edit it too. Sometimes I like to edit out like some of the painful parts of holding it. And over the time, the tutorials, the models in the background will slowly be finished more, as I'm self-banning myself from the printer until all models I have printed are finished. That excludes the ISS. Any ISS pages I've printed and made, I will continue. I won't like include those because that will take me a while to finish. Any non-ISS models that I have printed, I'll finish, and then I'll come back to printing. The only exception I will make is if I mess up on Tianhe or any part of the tutorial, I will reprint. So that's printing for me basically. So I'll see you guys most likely a few hours after this goes up. Maybe even a day, depends on how much sunlight I got left. After all, I'm in Australia and it's 4:08 right now. So I've only got like an hour and a half of sunlight. That's just Queensland for you. I will meet you guys in the next video of main body, rear docking port, and this little cone that connects to the docking hub. And of course little power data converters, graphical